Welcome to the Code with Jason meetup. Rick, it's been a while since you've joined me in one of these, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been about I guess a month or so, a little over a month actually.
Yeah, so I'll try to kind of catch you up on where I am. I'm going to be working on SaturnCI again tonight. And the last time I worked on it was this past Sunday, so like 4 days ago or whatever. Um, and I was working on making some tests a bit easier to understand. And I think I kind of got the tests in a good place, and now I'm trying to write a new test. So I'll show what I'm trying to write a test for. Let's see, share screen. Okay, so maybe a good way to do this will be to run the test in a browser and let you see it. Okay, line 37 here. Okay, so there was a bug where the system logs would come through in there'd be a build running, and the way this works is the test runs execute on a virtual machine in the cloud, but I want to be able to see the log output of the virtual machine. And so the virtual machine will send API requests to the SaturnCI platform, and the API requests will contain the fresh log content. And so SaturnCI will see that and be like, okay, I got some fresh log content. Let me update the screen with that. But the updating was not precise enough. It was like targeting a certain element on the page, but you could go from job to job and um, it would not distinguish between this element on this build and this element on a different build. And so you'd see the system logs coming through on this active build, and then you'd go to a different build that's finished. You'd still see the system logs coming through for that original build. That obviously is not right. So I wrote a test to capture that bug. So I don't know if I messed it up just now when I ran that. So let me do it again. Okay. So what it does is it visits the tab for the certain build, and then it navigates to the other build and goes to the system logs tab for the other build. So it starts on the system logs tab here, then it goes to the other build and goes to the system logs tab. And I actually did that backwards. This is the original build. So we start on the system logs for the original build. Then we go to the other build, visit the system logs tab, and we're looking at this. So you can see that originally it says original system log content, and then you come here and it says other job system logs. And what I then allow it to do is send an HTTP request. And what we should see is this original system log content will change. Okay, yep. Now we see new system log content. Before I fixed the bug, you could come to this other tab and you would see that new content here, which is not the right build for it to appear on. Anyway, that's kind of what that test does. But now, annoyingly, we have a very similar bug in a different place. I'll show you what that is. It's not just going from build to build, but it's also going from job to job. So we only have this job one tab here, but there's two tabs. I'll do it in the development environment. There's these two tabs here. And we'll get the test output for one job, And then you can visit the other job and you still are getting the test output for job 1, not job 2, even though you're on the job 2 tab. So now I'm working on writing a test that captures that bug. So basically all I've done so far is to copy paste that first test. So, okay, we're creating a job with certain system logs. Okay. Then we visit the system logs tab for that job. Okay. And then we're going to navigate to the other jobs tab. Okay. Okay. So we're doing the equivalent of like landing here and then we're navigating to the other jobs tab. But the problem is I just made this method up. There's not actually something called that. So I'm gonna add that. I have this navigation helper. So it needs to be called navigate to job tab. Okay. I have this one called navigate to build tab. So I guess I'll just change that a little bit. Okay. Um, and I don't know what this text is exactly. So let me go find that. Job menu. Okay. Okay. So this just says job and then the job's order index, 1 or 2. Um, but I don't want to have to duplicate that in the test. I think I want something. Let's do this. Let's create a new method called like label or something. Or maybe even just name. We'll call it name. And then here we can do link to job.name. And hopefully that stays the same. Yep. Okay, so now in this helper, we can say click on job.name. Okay. Um, and we want to expect the content job.system logs, I guess, to prevent a race condition. Okay, now let's see what happens when we run this test. Okay, wrong number of arguments. Oh yeah, because we don't need this argument. Oh no, I was looking at the wrong thing. Navigate to job tab. Okay, I don't understand what it's complaining about actually. Navigation helper, line 19. Given 1, expected 0. Oh, there. It wanted a positional argument, not a keyword argument. Okay, expected defined text, other job system logs. Okay, why other job system logs? Okay, it looks like I made a mistake. Navigation helper line 21. Yeah, this should be job.system logs. And while I'm at it, this should be build document hash. Okay, let's run that again and see what we get. Okay, expected to find text other job system logs. All right, and what line is that coming from? Line 21. All right, I don't know if what I just changed had anything to do with this. Okay. Okay, so we're navigating to the other job. Yes. Okay, so I'll put a pry here and I'll show the browser and we can see what's going on. So I don't even see job 2 here. I see 2 builds, which is surprising. Okay. So let's see what's up with that. Yeah, this is I think this is just kind of cruft. Create job, build original job dot build. Okay, let's see what happens there. Okay, now instead of 2 jobs with different builds, we just have 1 build with 2 jobs. Hmm. Duplicate order index. It's a little bit surprising. Okay. Apparently I have to manually set the order index, but that's okay. Whoops. Set the order index for the second job to 2. Syntax error. Okay. Now we have our job 1 and job 2 tabs there. And we do see other job system logs. Okay. And I want to make sure that in the course of doing this, I didn't mess up my other tests. So let me run those real quick. Okay. Okay. So this is the old test. This is the new test. It does not show the original job system logs on the other jobs system logs tab. Great. The part that I'm missing is this HTTP request. So this, Rick, this HTTP request line here, that simulates the virtual machine sending log content down to us. Okay. Okay. So we're expecting it not to have the original job system logs. Okay. Okay. That's surprising. Where is that? What line? Line, no, line 20. Okay. Navigate to job tab. Other job. Oh, whoops. I put this inside the let. I'm supposed to put that inside here. Okay. Okay, so the test passed, which is a little bit surprising because I thought there was a bug here. But maybe the thing I did to fix the other bug fixed this bug too. Okay. Well, I'm not sure. I'm gonna review my changes. Add test. Okay, so I'm gonna assume everything's fine until I see an indication otherwise. Now, what do I want to do next? There's a few things that I have on my wish list. Probably the biggest pain that I feel right now is that there's no like timer here that tells me how long the test's been running. So maybe let's add that. Okay, so when it's finished, it has a time. So where does that time come from? Let's look at build status. Okay, build duration. All right, I'm going to move this a little bit because I know I'm going to be adding to it. So if I just put something here, I expect to see it over here. This page is taking a while to reload. Not sure why. In fact, I have no idea why. Okay,
So
but the 1, 2, what's that?
it just showed up.
Yeah. So I do see the 1, 2, 3 there. Shows up in all these other places too. So we'll say build dot duration formatted dot presence or build dot elapsed time. And there's no such thing as elapsed time. So it'll give me an error. I just made that up. So let's go to the build model. We can define a method called elapsed time. And I'll just have it return 1, 2, 3 for the moment. Wow, this is bad. And I don't feel like it used to take this long. Anyway, we have our 1, 2, 3 there, and now the 1, 2, 3 doesn't show up in these other places. Okay, and by the way, navigating from build to build is fast. It's just that initial load that takes a long time. Probably because now we have so many builds. So that'll be something to address at some point. Okay, anyway, how do we make this into like into a running time that counts up? I will ask ChatGPT. I want the elapsed time to dynamically count up. Let's see what it says. That seems really complicated. That seems too complicated. Can we just use some rough one-liner? Even that seems more complicated than I want. Hmm. Okay. By the way, this was kind of dumb. I'm just gonna put this back to that. Um, let's see. What is it doing? Hmm. Okay. I'm going to take a different approach here. I'm going to say div class equals build do I want to use underscores or hyphens? Build elapsed time display. Okay. Now I'll say I want a stimulus controller that helps me update the time. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to do this. We don't need this span to know anything about the controller because this doesn't have anything to do with the elapsed time. Um, so I'm going to do this. Actually, maybe we do because this is related. Okay. Data controller equals elapsed time. I'm going to call it elapsed build time. Okay. Start time. I don't need the start time. I just need it to start at 0. Um, okay. Elapsed. Okay, so let's see. Div data elapsed build time target equals, I'm going to call it value. Okay. Now I probably have some stimulus controllers already. Yeah, here's something called a build list controller. We'll make something similar. So app JavaScript controllers. Elapsed build time. Okay. So I forget what the initialize method is called in a stimulus controller. Maybe it's just called initialize. No, connect. Okay. I'm just going to do this. Oops. Elapsed time. And I will see if that shows up in the console just to see if this controller even working at all. Yeah, and it looks like I'm gonna have to do something sooner than later about that load time. Anyway, we do see this elapsed time message in the console 242 times, in fact. Okay. So let's do this. I have this. and I have this, and I'll say, I just want to set the elapsed time value to 1234 hard coded as a test. We'll see what it does with that. Okay, value target dot text content equals 1234. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay. That adds 1234 to everything. But obviously, I don't want this value to appear on finished builds. I only want it on builds that are running. So I think I want to write a test for that. Yeah. Let me think. I'm just trying to think. With view component, you can write tests for just one component. It feels a little bit wasteful to use a system spec to test just this small thing. But maybe that's what I'll do, at least for a first pass. Okay, elapsed time. So what do I have in my test folder? Build navigation, builds. What's in builds? Build list, model and request. What's inside build list? Just system active link. Okay. Okay, let's see. Feels maybe appropriate to put it here. I'll make one called elapsed time spec.rb. Elapsed build time. I'll call it that for consistency. I'll open this other test too. Okay, and I'll just run that to make sure there's no mistakes. Okay, I'm gonna need all this, I think. And I'll need at least one build. And I think I need it to have a job. All right, so I'm going to do this. And I'll run it with the browser showing so that I can see what it looks like. Oh, okay, there's no tests. Okay, project. Oh, okay. Okay. So we have this build. And I want to say for a build that's finished, I want to expect not to see the elapsed time. Okay, so I'll do context finished build. It does not show the elapsed build time. Then I'll say for running build, it shows the elapsed build time. Okay. So I'm going to ask ChatGPT to fill in these tests for me. We'll see how good of a job it does. I won't be surprised at all if it does a worse job than I want it to. But we'll see. Okay. This is what I want. This 1, 2, 3, 4, that's no good because that's just what it happens to be right now. Okay, we can't really look for a specific value because the value is going to be changing. So the best we can do is look for this selector. So one of these two tests will fail. Okay. Yeah, so this is the test on line 13. Okay. I'm actually going to do something here. I'm going to say, I'm going to go like this. Okay. Because this build is not actually finished. This one's running. How do I make it finished? Okay, so I think I'll do it like this. I'll say, I'm actually kind of regretting what I just did. I think I'll do this. Whoops. Okay, so I'll say allow build to receive status and return running. And for this one, it'll be the same except finished. Oh, passed. Passed is what I want. And I have these backwards. Okay, running build. I'll say finished build because that's the significant thing is that it's finished. Okay. And now one of them will fail. Okay, it's the one on line 12. Um, let's change this so that it takes the status into account. If build.status equals running, otherwise this. Okay, and now if I did everything right, which I'm not sure if I did, but if I did, then the tests will both pass. Okay, I apparently didn't. Okay. Well, let's see what's going on. Okay. So the status is running. Oh, I just have the assertions backwards. Okay, let's see how that does. Okay, the one on line 20 fails. Let's see why. Okay, it says running even though it's supposed to be passed. So there might be something wrong with how I'm doing that. Um, let's see. Job.status. Okay, I'm gonna see if I'm doing something similar in a different test. Hmm. Okay, I'm gonna do this in a different way. Hmm. Okay, where does the job status come from? Oh, it's passed if the test report doesn't include the word failed. Okay. So maybe we can just do this. Oops. That one's naturally going to be running. I can do build.jobs.first.update. Um, test report passed. Let's see what that does. Still doesn't work. Okay. Let's see if that makes the job have the, sorry, it makes the build have the status we want or not. Okay, it does say passed. Oh, okay, no, it's expecting it not to have the selector, but it's saying that it does. Oh yeah, because there's no duration here. Okay, at least maybe. Okay. Okay, if it's running, then we show this. Okay, well, the build status is not running. Okay, so we go here, the build status is passed. Okay. And it doesn't even get to here. Oh, whoops. It's because I didn't do the syntax right. Okay, it gets to here first. Okay, the status is passed. Okay, so that's expected. Status is passed. Okay, so it was expecting not to find this, but it found it, even though it's not hitting this. Let's try this. Let's just take that part out entirely. I'm very confused as to how what's happening is happening. Weird. Oh, data controller. No, that's the wrong thing. It shouldn't be looking for data controller. It should be looking for this. I knew ChatGPT would let me down. Yeah, and wrong again. It's not the controller. Oh, wait. Yeah, no, we don't want that. I just want to check for the presence of that. Okay. Okay, now I'm running both these tests. Let's see what happens. Okay, we get a failure on line 12. This time we are expecting it to be there and it's not. Okay, build.status is running. Okay, status is passed. Okay, that is surprising. I'm going to put a private there. Okay, so it's there, but we get a failure. Expected not to. Oh, my assertion is just wrong again. Shouldn't have taken all those stupid pills before I started this session. Okay, there we go. Okay. I'm going to start a new branch. Elapsed build time. Okay, and as I review my code, I see that I don't want to commit this. I think it's a very good habit for people to review their code before they commit because you catch stuff like that. Okay, that all looks fine. Add test for elapsed time. Okay. Small issue. I don't like this where it does build.jobs.first.update. Feels a little fragile or something. So I'm going to do this. Does a job have to have a build? Yes, it does. Okay. So I'm going to say I have a better path to visit now, I think. I forget what it is though. I'll just do this. Job.build.project, job.build. Okay, now I can do just job.update. It's a little more certain. There we go. That feels a little sturdier. Okay. So now what? Now I expect that I won't see the duration on any of these. Oh, and we have some kind of JavaScript error. Yeah, missing target element. Um, okay, let's address that. Okay, elapsed build time. Whoops, that's not it. Whoops. Okay, so if I comment this out, does that make those errors go away? It does. Okay. Oh, and that's what was making the page load so slowly too. Um, maybe we can say, okay, what was the error? Missing target element value. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. If the value element is missing, can we just skip it? Okay, but I'm gonna do this a different way. I'm gonna do a guard clause. Go like that. Okay, no failures. All right, commit that. Of course, here we're getting an error. So let's see, we're getting a test failure. Let's see what that is. Okay, it's on build duration spec. It's not too shocking that we should get an error on that. Okay. Hmm. Interesting. So I think it's probably because the status is not passed. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what it was. That the job that's being used for this test didn't have a status of passed. Okay. Unsurprisingly, this test failed also. This one I expect to pass because we fixed that test. Okay. Now we can go to this elapsed build time controller. Now let's add the actual running time. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. I'm not a big fan. I want something way, way simpler, even if it's not correct. Hmm. Okay. This dot calculate elapsed time. Problem is, if we just do a hard coded value, we can't tell that it's changing. Instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, how about the easiest, simplest way of getting the current time that you can? I feel like it's bending over backwards to not give me that. Oh, okay. It can just be this. Okay, let's see how that looks. Oh, nice. All right. So that at least creates the illusion of a running test, or a running time, even though it's obviously not correct. But that's nice. Even though it's wrong, it's still satisfying to see it. Um, but obviously we don't want it to be wrong. We want it to be correct. So let's do that. But first I want to change this method name from calculate elapsed time to something more declarative. Um, maybe we can just call it elapsed time. No need to say calculate. Okay. Annoyingly, we always need to have a running test in order to manually test this. Okay. Um, so now let's make it correct. So we want to start. Obviously, when the test first starts, we can just start with 0. But what if we refresh the page? Then the test would be, let's say, 30 seconds in. We gotta keep it. We gotta keep it in sync. All right. So to the build class. All right, add fake elapsed time. For the build class, let's add a method called is it called it? No, let's do. I guess we don't even need anything because we can just go off of the builds created at time. And the JavaScript can figure out the rest. Okay. Let's pass the builds created at time to the Simulus controller. Okay. I didn't ask for all that. Did it even give me the thing that I wanted? It did, but it gave it a crappy name. Okay. How about build created at time? And in fact, it's not even a time, it's a date time. Okay. Is that even going to work? Because I thought it needed to be prefixed with the controller name. Doesn't the start time need to be prefixed with the controller name? Okay, I'm not even going to wait for it. Elapsed build time. Okay. Oh, this dot element dot data set. I'm just going to do this the old fashioned way. Um, Stimulus, um, pass value. Oh yeah, pass data to controller. That's what I want. Data clubs my value. Okay, this dot data dot get. Okay. Console.log. This dot data dot get. Build created at date time. I think that's how you do it. I'll be surprised if I'm actually right though. Hmm. I don't know why it's loading so slowly because this happens after the guard clause. Whoa, look at that. And no console.log. All right, I did something somewhere that messed everything up. Oh, there. Okay. Okay. I got to get a new one started. I guess it's going to be time to wrap up soon here. I don't understand the slow loading. There seems no reason for it. Okay. So it output null 5 times. All right. So there's something I didn't do right. What did I do wrong? Data elapsed, build time, build created at date time. Oh, I was missing data. Okay. I don't know why it's getting all that stuff from the database. Okay, anyway. Um, so we get null 5 times again. Okay. Build created at date time. Yeah, that looks the same. Okay. I'm sure there's somebody watching this right now, in the future, of course, on YouTube, who knows what the problem is. And they're just like so frustrated. They're like, Jason, you idiot. Hmm. Um, Apparently, I've been here before and I upvoted the question and the answer. Data Club's my value. But maybe this is outdated. Okay, what's the difference between data and values? Maybe I just want to use a value. Okay, it's suffixed with value. URL value. Okay, so this is going to be this dot build created at date time value. Okay, let's see if we have any better luck with that. And I know that high on my to-do list is going to be making this page faster. Okay, let's get a new one going so we have one that's running. Okay, it prints undefined 5 times. So we've gone from null to undefined. All right, so there's still something I'm doing wrong. Doesn't work. All right, so I'm going to copy paste this. Okay, something's different. Oh, why was there data in the middle? That's weird. Okay, I can see how that would cause an issue. Undefined still. Okay. I'm going to do something with like fewer words in it to reduce the chances that I'm making a mistake. Data elapsed build time thing value equals thing. Thing value. We'll see what that gives me after this extremely slow load time. It's loading all these test suite finished events. Okay. Well, now we get undefined a whole bunch of times. So I think the issue is that I just don't know how to use stimulus right. Data loader URL value. Okay, so the prefix is the controller and the suffix is value. Oh, I don't have it in a list of values. Okay. Static values equals URL string. So thing string, I suppose, let's say. And while we're at it, build created at date time string. Okay, there they are. And the page loaded a lot faster that time for whatever reason. Okay, so I can get rid of thing. Okay, and what do we get now? Okay. Get to use 4. Why 4? I'm not sure. Oh, those must be the ones. There must be some in here that are stuck in running or something like that. Okay, anyway, let me get one. Let me get a fresh one going. Okay, and now we see that start time here. Yes. Okay, so that's good. Okay, put add build created at time. Okay, and now one last thing before we go. Um, I want to make this count up from 0. So I take the current time minus, okay, current time minus build created at date time, or precisely current. Okay. Um, elapsed time equals that. Okay, so I think that is what I want. And just for fun, let's see how good of a job ChatGPT does in filling that out for us. Fill, no, replace the comments with working code. I have a hunch it's going to give us something really complicated again. Um, yes, but maybe it's necessary. It's not even, oh, start time. Okay. But I don't know why it put start time here. Oh, because start time. No, there doesn't seem to be a good reason for that. But maybe there is. I don't know. I'll just try it. Okay. Well, this looks like probably close to right. And we don't need hours. Yeah. Okay, let's get a new one going. Okay. It started off at 6 seconds, um, which actually felt nice. It's like, hey, I got to skip ahead. I think what really happened is it just didn't show the time right when it started. Okay. Well, I find this satisfying. Before, I just had to sit here and it like didn't feel like anything was happening. And now I can at least be like, okay, it's been running for 42 seconds or whatever. And when I refresh the page, what happens? Hey, it seems to like pick up at the right spot. Okay. And if anybody's wondering if I'm going to write a test for this, the answer is no, at least not yet. There is a chance, in fact, there's a high likelihood that I'll write like a JavaScript test for this. But I'm not going to do that right now because we're out of time. And I might not even do it for a long time because, oh boy. All right. I'll try not to open the entire can of worms, but you know, there's the metaphor of technical debt. I was actually talking with somebody earlier today of how me and this friend of mine, we're both of us aren't fans of the term technical debt because it just doesn't fit all that perfectly. And the metaphor I like to use instead is like dull and sharp blades. Um, and a couple reasons why I prefer that one. One is because with real debt, you can just choose not to take on debt. You don't have to put anything on the credit card if you don't want to. But with code, the debt's going to happen no matter what. So I prefer this metaphor of the blades because it's like the blade's going to get dull with usage. There's no avoiding it. The only way to make the dull sharp so that it can cut efficiently is to spend the effort to sharpen it. So what I have here, I have a dull blade. There's no test for this, so it's going to be hard to change. But a blade that you never cut with can be dull. And it can also be dull until you cut with it. So this way of counting up might be fine for the next 5 years without being touched at all. And so I can afford for this blade to be dull. Usually I don't like to make that bet. I like to make a bet that any particular blade in my drawer or whatever is going to have to be used to cut someday. But in this case, it seems like a pretty safe bet that I'm not going to have to cut with this blade anytime soon. All right, so I'm going to commit this. And I'll push that. Okay. So something that's actually kind of a bug here is that when the test has finished, when the build has finished, the time just keeps going. There we can see it's passed. But it seems right that when the test finishes, it should automatically update. So I'm going to add a little note to myself for next time. Whoops. When the test finishes, the status should automatically update. Okay, so now I'll be able to see that. Oh, also, I'm going to merge what I have here. Okay, merge, push, git stash pop. Okay, so when I pick it back up, I'll be able to see my note here when the test finishes, the status should automatically update, and then it'll be easy to get started next time. Okay. Well, Rick, thanks for joining me. Dear YouTube viewer, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah.